and welcome back to the Adeptus Custodes Black Crow Tactica video. I am back after a short hiatus, and the reason I had such a short hiatus, and the reason I needed a break, was quite simply because I kept waiting to see if points updates were coming. There was rumors in September were wild, and I was like, well, I'll just do this video, and the next week it'll just be on this points update, and blah, 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 and it just didn't happen. We finally have them now. I finally have been able to get you another video. I'm sorry for the delay, but I promise you, this one's a good one. The points updates have happened, people. The Adeptus Custodes has seen a waft of points decreases across certain units. But were they key? Were they impactful? And are they relevant? Well, this is what we're going to find out today. So, but before we do that, we need to talk about some of our wonderful sponsors. As you can see, I'm sponsored by Glasshammer Gaming. And if you want to get 5% off in addition to already the 15 to 20% that they already give off for their models, then just put in Black Crow with a capital B in the voucher code. When you do that, you get an additional 5% off. 5%. And guess what, folks? That works on their tickets for their events, and they have upcoming a 250-person super major happening in Birmingham, the 19th to 20th of April, and make sure you're there because I will be with my 5% off, baby. That's right. Make sure you get that. And if you like terrain, and we all like terrain because playing Warhammer 40k without any terrain sucks, go to my friend from Terrain Forge, and if you put in BCG 5% or whatever it is, I cannot remember. I'll add it into the Discord description. You get an additional 5% off of the terrain that you order, and they do WTC style, they do UKTC style, they do whatever style you want, really. If you've got a team emblem you want etched into those L's, this is your team. This is Terrain Forge, and they'll do it just for you. And if you like what you see and you want to be a part of it, please then drop me a subscribe. And if you hit that bell notification, then you won't miss any of these wonderful Adeptus Custodes shows. Which, come on, let's be honest, that's why we're all here for. Anyway, let's get to it. So the Adeptus Custodes, we saw a nice amount of changes. And I suppose the question really is did the Munitorum Field Manual make Adeptus Custodes meta? Yes, no, probably not. But it made us better. Gave us options that we didn't really consider before. And let's go into them. So what changed? Trajan Valoris went down in points. And I like that. I was experimenting before with Trajan Valoris as just a standalone rapid ingress threat. He can come in, he's got these big attacks, he can go up to 12 if you use his ability, and all of a sudden he's really impactful. And I quite liked him as a rapid ingress threat. He's a small base. You don't have to get him in anywhere. And, you get him in combat. He goes, he kills the thing he wants to touch, and then he can move on. He's someone you have to deal with, folks. And I like that about him. And now he's been made cheaper. Cheaper for you, for me, for everyone who wants to take Adeptus Custodes. Do I think you should be including him in your list? But do I think he has a play? Yes, I think there's play for him now. Venerable Dreadnoughts went down in points. They're down to 160 points. Virtus Praetors went down in points. They're 140 or 210 for 2 and 3 respectively. The Achilles Dreadnought went down in points, and the Galatis Dreadnought went down in points. So let's talk about the Dreadnoughts as a whole. So Art of War have been talking about this idea of being able to take a full Dreadnought list now. Yes, you can. You probably could take a full Dreadnought list, but would it be any good? There's still some bits that hold Dreadnoughts back, especially for Adeptus Custodes. And one of which is that they all move 6 inches, apart from the Telemon that's got 8. Now, you're getting around places, getting around walls, only moving 6 inches is pretty impactful. And I think they just need to be 8. Have them move 8 inches, and that'd be much better. And the only way we're going to get that is through a data slate. Are they pointed correctly? I think they're pointed pretty nicely. I mean, the Venerable Dreadnought now on a 2+, you get him back up. That could be quite impactful in a game. If you lose him early doors, in your turn, you can then pick him up and then run him off into the distance. Don't get me wrong, if you roll a 1, he's dead, and he's dead for good. But you roll a 2, D6 wounds come back, could be pretty impactful. The Achilles is our Dreadnought with a spear, and that can either have guns or flamers. The flamer build is better. The spear is good because it's got lance. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're not necessarily going to need your lance, but it's got lance. And what makes it even better is it's quite tasty in combat. It does a lot of damage, but again, it's that 2-up, 5-up, 6-inch move. It's a problem. I mean, what I'd love to see, give all our Dreadnoughts breachable. Make them so they can breach walls, walk through walls. I mean, if you've played Space Marine 2 recently, like I have, you'll see a Dreadnought smashing through a wall. Not a spoiler alert, just a fact, and it comes at some point in the game. But you see Dreadnoughts just going through the wall. Why should a wall in Warhammer 40k stop a Dreadnought? You tell me. Do I think that should be a change that Warhammer make? Well, yes. Drop us a like, put us a comment, and tell me what changes you think should be made to the Dreadnoughts, because I'd like to hear your opinion, but I think that would be the case. The Galatis Dreadnought is now the most expensive of our 3 Dreadnoughts, but I think it's probably the best one as well. It's got a 2-up, 4-up. It's got a shield that does -1 damage in combat, and it's pretty tasty in combat, and it's got its own abilities as well. I like that Dreadnought, but again, I don't know how much play these Dreadnoughts have. Will we see them in some capacity? Yes. I think there's space in the list now that we can run these Dreadnoughts, and the list will still be good. How competitive? I don't know. The big change, though, and I really like this change, is Virtus Praetors. 140 points for 2 Virtus Praetors. I like it. I like it a lot. And the reason I like it a lot is because, folks, we used them wrong. We used them wrong. We've been using them thinking they should be damage dealing, because historically in 9th, they could change and win games for us. Whereas now you need to use them differently. There are point scorers, and you're going to see a list that I've done let down in my other slides, and you're going to see this change and how I use them differently. But I've recently played Kylo, who is a guy who's been playing Adeptus Custodes for a long time. You'll see him. He pops up a lot in the Team England Discord chat. He's on the Adeptus Custodes Discord chat, and he's around piloting Custodes for a while. And I said to him, "Okay, come on, let's Kylo. Let's have a game." So he took his Imperial Knights. He was the #1 Imperial Knight player for a couple years running, so he knows how to field those Imperial Knights. And I'll tell you what, I think I sold him. I sold him on Virtus Praetors, folks. And because I used them to score points, it was so annoying for him to deal with, because you can't ignore them. They're great at hunting MSU. They're really fast when you need them to go steal an objective off of a rhino that thinks it's safe to hold one. They can move 18 inches. Who cares if they fly over something or not? You just want the 18-inch move. I like them. I think we need to start thinking a little bit outside of the box with Adeptus Custodes. Gone are the days of triple Warden blobs, because I think we've got more play now. Telemon Dreadnought, and yes, I know I spelled Dreadnought wrong. It's a typo, I'm sorry. But they got an update, folks. And I'm going to tell you what that update means. So, Devoted to Destruction. If this model is equipped with 2 Telemon stasis weapons, in addition to its armored feet weapon, add 2 to the attacks characteristics of those Telemon stasis weapons. Now, I've been seeing on Facebook, on chat, oh, does that mean they've got 14 attacks now because they've got 2 weapons? And I'm like, no, they've got 7 attacks with their fist. And the way it works is because in the rules, you can only use 1 combat weapon in combat. So if you're equipped with 2 combat weapons, you just pick which one you want. So yes, they got, for that extra fist, they got an additional 2 attacks. Is it a game changer? It makes them more killy, admittedly. For 215 points, those fists are they're pretty tasty. They do a flat 3 damage. You're pretty strong 12, have a 12, strength 12, sorry. They're going to hurt things. But for 215 points, are you going to take them over the other unit in our arsenal that's also 215 points? I don't think so. Yes, they've got that -1 damage. Yes, they're 2-up, 4-up. And yes, there is a list where these belong. And I think a certain playstyle, you could totally run 3 of these or 2 of these, and it would be quite impactful. And I'm going to experiment with these lists later down the line as well, just to see what happens. Now, other armies have changed, and these are some of our natural predators. Adeptus Sororitas went up in points. Dark Angels went up in points. World Eaters went up in points. Thousand Suns, Jakari, Space Marines, Demons, Necrons. And I think overall, this will be impactful for us. And the reason I think it'll be impactful for us is because obviously they can't take what they might have been taking before. They don't get as much stuff. Some of the problems that we had was being able to exchange assets. We couldn't really do that unless we like baked in loads of sisters. But then we're just like reducing our kill power. So it was difficult for Adeptus Custodes players to be able to get that fine line balance. Do I think Adeptus Sorority's points increases are enough? No. I think they just need rules changes. Dark Angels had the unit Deathwing Knights. They got a pretty impactful points increase. But do I think it's enough? I think they're probably costed correctly, but I don't like for Dark Angel players, they're saying, oh, the army's dead. And I'm like, well, I don't think so. I think you just pivot slightly. I just don't think you just take 3 of them. They're the same cost as Wardens, and they're probably still better than Wardens. Just by 2 pence. Dark Angel players, I'm sorry if you disagree with me. And I'm sorry, it sucks when units you love get points increase, and I appreciate that. But I don't think it's as bad as you think. World Eaters players now, I'm sad they got an increase. I actually have a soft spot for World Eaters because I think it's because they just love chaos, carnage, and combat. But do I think they needed a points increase? I think because of the other armies that were getting points increase, they probably needed to reflect as well. Because ultimately, if not, they would have gone probably to the top of the meta. And the golden zone is 50%. I don't know how impactful that'll be, but we'll see. 1,000 Sun players, they got hit hard. They took some points increases across, and I think now you're just going to see less characters and more units. I think that's probably more beneficial because they'll have less Cabal points to be able to do the horrible stuff that they do. God damn, they're so horrible to play against. And you're probably saying, well, Aaron, if they're so horrible, why aren't there not more of them in the meta? I was like, well, because there's so many other good things in the meta. But I do think these guys will still be doing very well, and I think will still be strong. Drukhari had points increases. I think they just pivot. They've got so many units they can just chop and change. Space Marines had points increases and decreases, which I felt was sad. And the reason they had increases was because Templars, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Dark Angels. Not because of Vanilla Marines. Vanilla Marines, I feel we need to give them the Imperial Agents touch, where it costs more for people like for like Blood Angels and for Dark Angels to take them, because ultimately they do need something, and I think it'll come in the rules. Demons and Necrons had points increases and changes. Necrons have got such a wide field of units that I don't think it's going to hurt them too much, and they can just pivot. Demons, I don't think it's massively impactful either, but I think it's good. The meta's in a good place, folks. So where are we now? We're not top of the meta. Our problems are in our codex. I would love it if we had a 5th detachment. Other codexes releases have all had 5 detachments. Why did we lose out? Give us a different type of detachment. Now, I heard some people say, oh, it'd be cool to have a Dreadnought detachment, but you've got to remember, there are Forge World units, and they're not going to give us a Dreadnought detachment like that. What I'd like them to do is fix Auric Champions or change Auric Champions to make it so it's more viable. We will perform slightly better, people. We will do better into our boogeyman matchups, and I'm pretty happy about that. Only the data will tell us. As events happen, we will learn, and I think, as they've said, a data slate is coming this year. We'll see it. We'll see some changes. So my new list. I hope you're all excited. The new list is it is very different to what I've been running. So I've got it's under Shield Host because I love Shield Host. That's my go-to. It's the Blade Champion. Gotta have a Blade Champion. 2 units of guard with sword and shield in each unit. And then there is an argument to give them Vexillas and just chin off the sword, but I don't own those models. So this is why I've done this, because I only put up lists that I own models for, and it's what I do for TTS as well, so I can get practice with them. 5 Wardens with Vexilla and Spears. 2 Caladius Grav tanks with blade cannons. They are auto-include. And the reason they are auto-include for me is because if we go into a tank-heavy meta, they're going to be so valuable. And there's an argument out there for running 3 of them. And, my friends have run 3. And the guest I was hoping to get on today, but unfortunately wasn't able to get to in time. I think he's tested 3 on TTS. So I think there is an argument for them. I've got lots of 2 Virtus Praetors with missiles, and the reason that is because they score points so well. Just use them to score points. They're not your damage dealers anymore. They're out there to go help you win the game, to do those actions that you need help with, to do those things where you just... But there's nothing stopping them if you need them to come and support you in an assault on a unit and you think they will help tip the line. That's what they're there for. 2x3 Venatari are now your damage dealers, baby. Rapid ingress, boom. They're going to hit hard. Fantastic. They've been our MVPs for a while now. They're still really strong and prominent in my list. 1x4 prosecutors. You need someone to hold that home, to do a little bit of screening, to make sure someone just can't walk onto your objective. 2x4 Witch Seekers. Now, I still rate Witch Seekers. They're the ones that can scout 6, move 6, and then jump onto objective. They're great when you need them to just do some containment, or you want to just you don't want to commit a unit, so you just go in and you just hold the center objective for them to die, or establish locus, something along those lines. That's what they're good at. Use them for it. You've now got your Virtus Praetors who can go and do the more risque stuff as well, and they have to be dealt with. Virtus Praetors can't be ignored. If your opponent ignores Virtus Praetors, they will punish them because they kill MSU. They are MSU hunters. Excellent at killing your opponent's scoring. Excellent. And then a Callous Assassin, because I believe that they should be in every list, and the reason they should be in every list because they up, down, vect, and just genuinely will score you a ton of points in a game. That unit will, on average, score you probably 10, 15 points in a match. That's the difference of winning. You need one. And yes, some people out there say, well, Aaron, why have you not got Draxus? My friend Kylo, he said to me that actually, I could drop a unit of guard and just have Draxus. And I do agree that is a build and that probably would work. But I do like having redundancy. I do like having that second unit of guard that don't really do anything, but there might be a game where they do a lot. When I'm struggling and I'm using resources really quickly, that's what I think they're there for. Now, I'm really appreciate you guys tuning in to watch this. I'm sorry it's been a little while, and I will be back soon with another one next week. We're going to talk about the impact of the meta after Coventry, and I'm excited to kind of continue doing these episodes for you. It was great to see my community actually asking where I'd gone. I am still doing stuff. I am here. I'm really grateful for all of the support that I get and receive. And if you like what I do, please like and subscribe. I've been Aaron. This is my Adeptus Custodes Tactics video. See you later, guys.